Dear students, today we are going to discuss about various factors that will affect the rate of E1 and E2 reaction. Then we will discuss about the comparison between E1 and E2 mechanism, what are the differences and how different parameters affect the rate of E1 and E2 reaction, followed by some important examples of E1 and E2 mechanism. So first of all, starting with the factors that is going to affect the rate of an E2 reaction, E2 mechanism. So when we are concerned about this particular mechanism, E2 mechanism, at that time, we can see that whatever the structure of the substrate, that will greatly affect the mechanism for E2 reaction. Similarly, what kind of solvent we have utilized, what are the different kind of bases that have been used, all these parameters that is going to affect the rate of E2 reaction as well as the stereochemistry of this reaction. So when we talk about the base, at that time we can say that the base in case of E2 reaction, that when we discuss about the rate of this reaction, we know that it particularly depend upon the concentration of the substrate and the concentration of the base. It means it will be greatly affected by the concentration of base, the nature of base and its basicity. It means when we increase the strength of the base, the E2 reaction will increase, the mechanism of E2 reaction will going to be increased, the rate of E2 reaction will going to be increased. Means it will be greatly affected by the kind of base, the nature of the base and strength of the base when we concerned about base particularly. When we talk about E2 reaction, we should be knowing that this kind of reaction generally run with strong bases like OH negative, OR negative. The second point is the nature of the solvent. When we talk about the nature of the solvent, at that time we can say that polar aprotic solvents generally are preferable for E2 mechanism. Means that should be polar, that should be aprotic solvent. So when the two conditions meet for the solvent, at that time it will be considered as a preferable solvent for E2 mechanism to happen. When we talk about the leaving group, the leaving group for E2 reaction should be a good leaving group. For example, you can see on the screen that rate of reaction for different kind of the alkyl halides in E2 reaction is Ri, then Rbr, then RCl and then Rf, alkyl fluoride. So there should be a good leaving group in case of E2 reaction to happen. When we talk about the substrate for this reaction, the substrate will be generally, tertiary, that will have more rate for E2 reaction as comparison to secondary, which is having more rate as comparison to primary. So that will be the effect of the structure of the substrate on the rate of E2 reaction. When we talk about the general characteristics of this E2 reaction, you know that this is basically a second order reaction and the rate of this reaction particularly depending upon the substrate, and that will depend upon the concentration of the base. This is a single step mechanism, and we have already discussed about this particular phenomena, that when we talk about the substrate structure, it should be tertiary, then secondary, then primary, and strength of base if we are particularly concerned about, then strong base generally favor the E2 reaction. When leaving group, it should be having a good leaving group, and the type of solvent will be favored with polar aprotic solvent. So these are the different characteristics, these are the different parameters on which the rate of any E2 reaction will depend. Now come to the factors that affect the rate of E1 reaction. At that time we can say that when we generally talk about the characteristic of the E1 reaction, we should be knowing that this is basically a first order reaction. When we talk about the rate of this reaction, it will be particularly depending upon the concentration of the substrate, right? When we talk about the steps, it is generally taking place in two steps, in which one is the formation of the carbocation and in another the hydrogen will be eliminated out to form the carbon-carbon multiple bond. So basically this is a two-step process, right? So when we talk about the different kind of the parameters that are going to affect the rate of E1 reaction, at that time we should first consider the structure of the substrate. Now we can see that the same rate was there, the same order was there for E2 reaction as well, and the same order is there for E1 mechanism as well. This order is basically because of the stability of the carbocation that have been synthesized, that have been formed by elimination of the X from carbon. Because you can see that this is the carbon and this particular carbon is bearing 3 R group, and when this X negative will be eliminated from here, means CX bond will be broken down. At that time you can see that C positive will be synthesized and it will be a stabilized C positive as comparison to secondary, as comparison to primary, as comparison to methyl. So the same will be seen in case of E1 reaction. And when we talk about E2 reaction, that the same order was also there, and what will be the reason for that? Here you are saying that carbocation stability is the main reason. Then what was the reason for that? Because the same order was also there in case of E2 reaction, the main reason for that is there is probability for attacking the base on different kind of the branch. For example, if we talk about this particular carbon, and this carbon is bearing the leaving group, so these are the beta carbons and they are containing the hydrogen. So the base have different type of hydrogens, different CS3 group, from which that can easily eliminate the H positive, that can easily eliminate the hydrogen, right? So because of that reason, the same order was there for E2 mechanism as well, for rate of E2 reaction as well. So this is the substrate structure in case of E1 reaction. When we talk about the strength of the base, at that time we can say that in case of E2 reaction, because the rate is particularly depending upon the structure of the substrate as well as the base, but in case of E1 reaction, the rate is particularly dependent upon the substrate structure, it is not depending upon the base. At that time we can say that it should be favored by weak bases. For example, water molecule can easily accelerate the rate of E1 reaction, as well as, for example, we are having alcohol that can also accelerate the rate of E1 reaction. So it should be favored by a weaker base as comparison to E2 reaction. When we talk about the leaving group, there must be a better leaving group, and when we are having a better leaving group, at that time we can have good rate of E1 reaction. When we talk about the solvent, in case of E2 reaction, it was polar aprotic solvent, and here the rate of reaction, the rate of E1 reaction, that will be accelerated by polar protic solvent, because that can stabilize the ionic intermediate, the carbocation, which is formed during the course of reaction, which is formed during the first step. So these are the different parameters. These are the different parameters. Here on your screen you can see that how it is stabilizing the C positive, and because of that reason it is having this order of its reactivity. So that's all about the various parameters that is affecting the rate of E1 and E2 reaction. Now, as you know that we were talking about the competitive reaction, and for E2 reaction the competitive reaction was SN2, and for E1 it was SN1. So how can we know that which reaction is going to taking place on a particular substrate. There are various parameters. I think in my one of lecture I told you one parameter, that was the nucleophilicity and the basicity. But beside nucleophilicity and basicity, we have various parameters on which the elimination versus substitution will depend. Means whether the elimination reaction will happen or the substitution will happen, because they are closely related with one another. And that's why we should be having a very close monitoring on these parameters. So the first parameter that will govern the elimination versus substitution is basicity and the nucleophilicity. For elimination reaction, the basicity of any nucleophile, the base strength, that is very important parameter. And when we talk about the substitution reaction, at that time it is the nucleophilicity of the nucleophile that generally matters. When we talk about a general condition, strongly basic condition generally favor the elimination reaction. Or we can say that if we are using strong base, at that time elimination reaction will proceed. Elimination reaction is going to happen at that time. And when we are using a good nucleophile, at that time we can say that substitution reaction will be proceeding, right? It means it will all depend upon the basicity and nucleophilicity of the material that we have used. Strongly basic condition, that will favor the elimination reaction, and a good nucleophile will favor the substitution reaction for that case. You can see example on your screen that this is basically alkyl bromide, in which we are having two different conditions. We are having one, a strongly basic condition. You can see we are using soda amide NaNH2 we are using in this reaction, and at one place we are using acetate ion, we are using acetic acid. At that time you can clearly see that here the nucleophilicity matters, here the basicity matters. It is a strong base, and in presence of strong base there will be dehydrohalogenation reaction, and because of that reason you are getting carbon-carbon double bond, you are getting alkene as the product. E2 reaction will be favored in this condition, my dear students. When we talk about this reaction, this is a nucleophile, and this nucleophile will attack backside on this particular carbon with elimination of bromine, Br negative, and you are getting 100% SN2 product. Nucleophilic substitution, bimolecular reaction will happen in this case. So you can see that under strongly basic condition you are obtaining alkene, you are getting the elimination product, whereas when we are using weakly basic condition, we are using a nucleophile, a good nucleophile. At that time you are having the substitution reaction, you are having the SN2 reaction at that time. So this is the first parameter on which elimination versus substitution reaction will depend. The second parameter, this is also very important parameter, and this is basically the substrate structure. And you have seen in the previous slide that when we were having tertiary alkyl halide, at that time the elimination reaction was also there, and the similar case was also there with E1 and E2 mechanism. So when we are taking crowded reactant, you can see, and that crowded reactant will favor the elimination reaction. over substitution reaction. What is the reason behind that? The reason for that, as you have seen the substate, if we are talking about the tertiary alkyl halide, you can see that for the nucleophile to attack on the carbon, there is a steric hindrance of the bulky groups which are present on the carbon. So the substitution reaction will not be very easy. Instead, the elimination at that time will be behavioral reaction, will be very easy reaction that can take place at that time. So when we are taking the crowded reactant, at that time the elimination will happen as comparison to substitution. Here are different examples on your screen, and you can see that how this parameter is going to affect the elimination and substitution. Means we can predict the reaction, which reaction is going to occur. For example, this is a case of primary alkyl halide, and this is the reaction condition that at 55 degrees Celsius temperature you are having sodium ethoxide in ethanol. You can see, my dear students, you can see that SN2 reaction is 90%. Chances of nucleophilic substitution by molecular reaction is 90%, and you can see that chance of E2 reaction is only 10%. Because here your nucleophile can easily attack from the backside, leaving the Br negative, and that will form 90%. When we talk about the secondary alkyl halide, under the similar condition, you can see that the rate of SN2 reaction, the product which is formed, the proportion of the product that have been formed during the SN2 reaction is only 20%. That is reduced as comparison to E2. Now the E2 ratio is 79%. And what is the reason behind that? Because of the crowding. You can see that this is the carbon at which the nucleophile is going to attack, and this carbon is now crowded. This is now surrounded by these two methyl groups. So there is a crowding, little bit crowding is there, and because of that crowding, it is not going to attack on this particular carbon. Instead, this will abstract the hydrogen from this particular carbon with elimination of Br, and there will be E2 reaction. This is the case of tertiary alkyl halide, and here you can clearly see that we have changed the condition little bit. Here you are having 25 degrees Celsius temperature, and here the temperature has been increased to 55 degrees Celsius. You can clearly see, my dear students, you can see that this is E2 91%, whereas this is SN1 9% only. There is no chance of SN2 reaction at all. And here at this much temperature, that at high temperature, you can see that 100% of the product has been synthesized in E2 manner. That is, elimination by molecular is happening here, right? So here you are having multiple portion that hydrogen can be eliminated from this as well as this. So base can easily attack on this particular hydrogen, and when it is attacking, it will be forming 100% alkene. When the temperature is low, at that time you can see that little bit chance is there in which Br negative can be eliminated out and C positive can be synthesized at this particular carbon. And when this is formed, the base will abstract the hydrogen. This is the case of E2. This is the case of E2 reaction. When we talk about SN reaction, nucleophilic substitution, unimolecular reaction, at that time you can see that C positive will be synthesized and this C positive will be stabilized, and then the ETO negative will now attack at this particular carbon and will form the SN1 product, that is nucleophilic substitution unimolecular product. But this is only 9% and there is no chance of SN2 product. So we can clearly say that when we are taking the overcrowded substrate. At that time, the chances of elimination reaction will be more as comparison to substitution. Now come to our third parameter, and our third parameter is the nature of base. You can clearly see here are the different examples when we are taking overcrowded base, and at the same time we are also taking less crowded base. On the screen you can see that here we have taken tert butoxide, but in this reaction you have taken ethoxide. You can see the difference of these two bases because the substrate is same. In the above example, that when you are taking overcrowded base, at that time you are having 92% of the E2 product. That 92% product will be alkene with mechanism elimination bimolecular, and only 8% is SN2 bimolecular substitution. Because of the overcrowded base, it cannot attack from the back side and cannot eliminate the Br negative. So elimination will be favored when we are taking overcrowded base as well. This is less crowded base. At that time even 62%, whereas the SN2 reaction, the nucleophilic substitution reaction, will be 38%. So this is the difference, that how it is creating the difference, how it is changing the ratio of the two product, substitution and elimination. Here you can see that at 40 degrees Celsius temperature we are taking, this is 85% and this is 15%, right? So this is the overcrowded base, that how the more crowded base, the overcrowded base will favor the elimination reaction as comparison to substitution one. The fourth parameter that affect the elimination versus substitution ratio, that is the solvent effect. When we talking about the solvent, we must be knowing that the polar protic solvent, that will favor the E1 and SN1, and the polar aprotic solvent, that will favor the E2 and SN2. In between these, that is, for example, we are concerned about E2 and SN2. At that time, as you know, that charge is more dispersed in case of E2 reaction, and because of that reason less polar solvent, that is going to favor E2 elimination as comparison to SN2 reaction, because of more dispersal of charge in case of elimination reaction. You can see on the screen that this is your alkyl halide, secondary alkyl halide you have taken, and we are observing E2 elimination reaction. You can see that these are the condition. This is the condition in which we are taking 40% water, and here there is no water molecule at all. When we talk about the polarity, the chances of elimination is 54% and 46% is substitution, because the polarity in this case, this is more polar as comparison to this one, and because of more polarity the elimination ratio is decreased as comparison to substitution ratio. When we are having less polar solvent, at that time you can see that E2 will be more as comparison to SN2. So elimination will be favored and substitution is not favored in this case. You can see from the diagram. This is another example of even elimination, right? You can clearly see that here you are taking more polar solvent. At that time you are having 16% even ratio, 16% of the elimination product and 84% of substitution product. When you are having solvent with less polarity, at that time you can see that elimination is increased from 16% to 33%, whereas the substitution ratio is decreased from 84% to 67%. So this is the condition how the elimination versus substitution ratio will change according to the solvent. The next parameter, that is the temperature, and I think you have seen the effect of temperature in our previous slide. In one of the example I told you that at 25 degrees Celsius we have taken the same reaction, and at 55 degrees Celsius we have taken the same reaction. So when we talk about the temperature effect, generally the elimination reactions are more favored at higher temperature as comparison to the substitution reaction. You can clearly see that the same reaction is here at 45 degrees Celsius, and at 100 degrees Celsius temperature you are having 64% elimination, 36% substitution. When the same reaction is carried out at low temperature 45 degrees Celsius, this elimination product is decreased to 53%, whereas this substitution product has been increased to 47%. Similarly, you can see here at 25 degrees Celsius and 65 degrees Celsius, you can clearly see that the elimination is 17% only, whereas the substitution is 83%. And when we talk about the same reaction at high temperature 65 degrees Celsius temperature, at that time you can clearly see that this 17% has been increased to 36%. Elimination is favored as comparison to substitution. So this is the effect of temperature on the elimination substitution ratio. How can you predict the reaction mechanism that has been written particularly on this slide, and I have concluded all the parameters, that is the nucleophilicity and basicity, the substrate structure effect, effect of temperature, effect of solvent, and similarly the effect of structure of the base. That is, we are having simpler base, we are having less crowded base, or we are having overcrowded base, right? So different kind of parameters have been concluded on this particular slide. You can clearly see these point by point, that how these different parameters affect the elimination substitution ratio. So far we have learned about the factors that are affecting the rate of even and E2 reaction, and the parameters on which the elimination substitution ratio depends. Now on this screen you can see that this is basically what happened, that whether the reaction will proceed with SN1 mechanism, SN2 mechanism, even mechanism, E2 mechanism, or even CB mechanism. You can see this one on the screen, that for example we have taken different kind of the substrate. This is your methyl. Now you are having primary unhindered. There are two categories, primary hindered and primary unhindered. So this particular example is for primary unhindered, and this particular example is for primary hindered. Then you are having secondary. you are having a tertiary substrate and you are having a such substrate which is having anion stabilizing group, and that group is present at this particular position. Means, for example, this is your alpha carbon which is bearing X, then at beta carbon you are having that group which is stabilizing the anion, right? So these are the different kind of the substrate that we were talking about. Now these are the different kind of the nucleophiles, different kind of the base you have taken for the reaction. In that condition you can predict that what will be the mechanism for this particular reaction. For example, you are having poor nucleophiles like H2O, like alcohol. You are having weakly basic nucleophiles. For example, you are having RS negative, you are having I negative. You are having strongly basic unhindered nucleophile, strongly basic unhindered nucleophile alkoxide ion RO negative, and you are having strongly basic and hindered nucleophile that may be DBU and tert butoxide, for example. You can clearly see, my dear student, that in case of methyl there will be no reaction with the nucleophile. Then we are having weakly basic nucleophile, the reaction will proceed with SN2 mechanism. We are having strongly basic condition, unhindered nucleophile we are taking, the reaction will be SN2, and the same mechanism will be followed in case of strongly basic hindered nucleophile. When we come to primary unhindered case, at that time, in case of poor nucleophile there will be no reaction at all. Under weakly basic condition there will be SN2 reaction. Strongly basic condition, unhindered case of nucleophile, we have SN2 type of reaction. But when we are taking strongly basic condition and we are having hindered nucleophile, for example we are having tert butoxide, at that time E2 reaction will be favored. When we are having a case of primary substrate and that primary is hindered, at that time with poor nucleophile there will be no reaction. Similar concept. With weakly basic nucleophile there will be SN2 reaction. Under strongly basic unhindered nucleophilic condition, you can see that reaction will be E2, elimination bimolecular, and the same mechanism will be favor for hindered base. When we are having secondary, at that time you can clearly see, my dear student, that SN1 reaction will be favored in case of poor nucleophile. Here you are seeing that E1 reaction can also be favored, but that reaction will be slow as comparison to SN1 reaction. So here nucleophilic substitution unimolecular will be favored as comparison to E1. For the same substrate under weakly basic nucleophilic condition, the reaction will be SN2, and then for other two parameters it will be E2 and it will be E2. When we talk about the tertiary, you are having a tertiary substrate, at that time both E1 or SN1 both reaction can happen. That will further be depending upon the different kind of the condition we have studied earlier. And here you can clearly see that at weakly basic condition SN1 and E1 both can happen. Under strongly basic condition you are having E2 reaction, and the same reaction will be followed in case of hindered nucleophilic, that is tert butoxide, for example. This is the case where stabilizing groups are present and that will stabilize the anion C negative that has been synthesized. At that time, my dear student, you can clearly see that in all the parameters, all the conditions, only one reaction will be followed, and that reaction is E1 CB, elimination unimolecular conjugate base reaction, because here this hydrogen, for example we are talking about this particular substrate, hydrogen can be eliminated out and this will form the C negative, and you can see that C negative will be stabilized by this particular carbonyl group. So here is anion stabilizing group. right? So when it is stabilizing the anion at that time, the even CV reaction will be favored in this case. So that's all about today's class, and tomorrow we will discuss about different type of reactions and how and what is the difference between E2 and E1 mechanism, and how these factors will ultimately be affecting the rate.